Chainsaw Man is full of characters. Obviously, it's a story, but more importantly than that, it has people who are sort of unhinged. Denji clearly has a couple of screws loose and power doesn't flush the toilet, but amidst all the madness, you are greeted by someone normal. It kind of catches you off guard at first. As Denji has a heart fusion with the devil and Makima is doing whatever this is, you have a guy who just does his daily morning routine. Yeah, huge analysis, a guy does his laundry, but no, seriously. This one random sequence in the anime of Aki just going around and taking care of himself and his apartment really helps ground this idea that he is truly ordinary. He's so ordinary that in the devil hunting business, he's unordinary in a sense. And that is what more or less informs the central flaw of Aki Hayakawa. He's too normal. Our first introduction to Aki is a tough one, as he beats up our protagonist pretty ruthlessly. While on the surface you think he's a jerk for this, Aki is doing what he can to try and save a literal child. It's easy to forget, but Denji's only like 15 years old, who was stated to only be in a business that cost the lives of hundreds, if not thousands, due to a crush on a grown woman. While it's definitely easy to find Aki unlikable for this brash intro, the true intent of it comes out when he hears from Makima that should Denji flee or try to leave this occupation in any way, he will be killed. The face Aki makes isn't one of disgust or malice or anything negative of that nature, and more looks like shock and a recognition that Denji's situation is even worse than he thought, and ironically, his attempt to save him would have gotten him killed. His goal of wanting to scare people off to save them almost backfired in his face, and that genuine look of worry in his face shows Aki's true nature even early on. His actions to subtly protect Denji can clue us in on him as a person. On the outside, he presents himself as cold or standoffish, radiating a stoic aura to hide the softness that lies beneath. This is perfectly demonstrated by Aki, as a child, watched his entire family get killed by the gun devil. He let his little brother run back into the house. What if he had stopped him on that fateful day? What if he somehow got the family out of that house? What if he took them and ran far away? These are likely questions that haunt Aki to this day. The psychosocial well-being of orphans is something well studied. The death of a parent, obviously, gives rise to emotional distress, and they become susceptible to long-term psychological problems including depression, anger, anxiety, feelings of sadness, and are inclined to withdraw and self-isolate. These psychological problems are brought about by their failure to deal with their sense of loss. This inciting moment for Aki's character is what decided it all. The death of his family on that horrific day put him on a path of revenge. This icy exterior is his way of attempting to withdraw from social situations, to try his best to prevent bonds from being formed, because in a job like this, who is to say that they won't end up like his parents? A facade that he has constructed due to the lack of resources or social network to deal with the loss of his brother and his parents. Aki never dealt with that trauma, and while he criticizes Denji's goal for being shallow and simplistic, metacontextually, some might say something similar to him, calling his idea of revenge generic. I wouldn't personally say it's generic. Not to say that revenge stories are uncommon, I think it just makes Aki human. He rages for his loved ones that were taken unfairly, and while he states that killing the gun devil is his be-all and end-all, he will throw that away to save someone's life. He will use his sword to protect people no matter what happens to him. Despite the mask he wears to shut people out, when Himeno dies, he still cries. She is someone who was in his life that tried as hard as she could to pull him out, to end the death sentence of being a public safety hunter. She saw him for what he was, ordinary. She, however, was also ordinary. Himeno's death is just one piece that cracks the shell known as Aki Hayakawa. He failed. He got close to someone again, and they died trying to save him. Despite his rapidly decreasing lifespan, he still engages in reckless behavior. He takes up smoking like Himeno had always wanted, and he goes off to form a contract with the devil regardless of what the consequences of that decision might be. This is when he finds out that he will die in the worst way possible. What this means is obviously unknown at this point, but it leads us to a probable conclusion about conviction. Kishibe comments about how the hunters that devils truly fear are the ones that have screws loose. The kind of hunter that is a hunter because they are a hunter, for really no other reason. Aki doesn't fully grasp the difference between him and Denji. If Denji was given any opportunity to fill the void of connections left within, he would take it. For Aki, the only way he could get revenge is to be a devil hunter. Denji is a devil hunter because he just so happens to be one. Aki is a devil hunter for a particular reason. People who do it for a job, or people who do it for any sane, logical reason, are not long for this world. In the world of devil hunters, Aki's conviction is wrong. The easy revenge scene was super good, and I've seen a lot of interesting interpretations of it. As Aki encounters the very devil Himeno was contracted to, it lets out Himeno's final message to Aki: easy revenge. One could argue this applies to the cigarette itself in this scene, how smoking a cigarette is, in a way, a method of retrieving your own agency over life and death from the occupation of a public safety hunter. A decision you yourself can make that kills you, nobody else. Another way to look at it is Himeno telling him one last time to give up on this pipe dream of killing the gun devil, to give up on this concept of impossible revenge, and to move on to an easier form. And that is when we get to one of the last scenes of Season 1. After Katana Man is defeated, Denji has him tied up and defenseless. Aki comes over and Denji asks if he wants to go to town on his nutsack. At first, Aki thinks that this is ridiculous. He has more important things to worry about, but then he glances back down at the easy revenge. Himeno's final message: stop chasing this impossible goal and take the small bits of revenge you can get, when you can get it. Absolutely, fuck this dude's balls up. And in his final scene of the season, takes another bit of revenge. In a life where he had tried to shut himself off from connection, trying to not let people into his life due to the lack of properly handling his grief, he has dinner with Denji in power, and he finally lights that cigarette up. Aki's easy revenge right here, in this very moment, is letting himself be happy with other people. It's the equivalent of living your life shut in your room and finally cracking the door open to hear what other people are saying around you. Perhaps Aki's conviction will not remain as strong as it was. Perhaps Aki can see a future with Denji in power, and that is because Aki is ordinary. An ordinary tragedy. He gives in to the urge to get back at the man that killed his friend, and he lights the same friend's final cigarette, accepting her wish to take easy revenge, and to accept others into his life again. For all the shit Himeno gets, and Jesus Christ, yes, some of that's deserved, she is a massively important figure in both Denji and Aki's progression as characters. I really like Aki Hayakawa's arc in Chainsaw Man. A guy with such strong conviction, yet can never seemingly take a W. The anime added a little detail during the hospital scenes in the Katana Man arc about an apple. I talk in another video about how this is a big sign of Denji's progression, but someone on Reddit points out that Aki's two choices are here: the cigarette and the apple. The healthy apple representing the choice of quitting devil hunting and living a different life devoid of his revenge motivation, or the unhealthy cigarette, representing latching onto his toxic unhealthy lifestyle that one day will kill him. Man, Chainsaw Man is really good. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, please remember to like, comment, and subscribe for the funny YouTube algorithm. You can check the description down below to follow me on Twitter, where I'm objectively correct all the time. You can also join my Discord, where we talk about My Hero Academia, ReZero, Jujutsu Kaisen, and stuff like that. And you can also now become a YouTube member, which basically just gives you access to behind-the-scenes content, a little badge on comments, and live stream chats, and access to some emotes. Only do so if you want to support the channel, though. But that's about it, though. Thank you for watching. See you.